chosen one. Stop. Do not scroll past this. I am not speaking metaphorically. I am telling you what literally happened in the courts of heaven. The verdict is in, the gavel has fallen, and you have been declared the winner. Not eventually, not maybe, not if things work out. Now, in this very moment, the case is closed. For years, you lived as though the trial was still ongoing, as though the jury was still deliberating, as though the outcome was still uncertain. But while you were crying in silence, heaven was compiling evidence. While you were enduring betrayal, angels were documenting testimony. While you were surviving attacks, the divine prosecutor was building an airtight case on your behalf. And now the Supreme Court of Heaven has ruled. The verdict is final. There is no appeal. You have won. At exactly 3:33 this morning, I was pulled into a vision that shook me to my core. I was standing in a courtroom unlike any on earth. The walls stretched beyond sight. The ceiling disappeared into clouds of glory. The floor was crystal, transparent as glass, and seated on the bench was not a human judge, but the Ancient of Days himself. His robes were white as snow, his throne was flames of fire, and millions of angels stood at attention, waiting for the ruling. Before him stood two figures. One was an accuser, clutching files of evidence against a defendant. His voice was filled with venom as he read the charges. The other was a defender, holding files of counter-evidence. His presence radiated peace and authority. The defendant was you. I watched as the accuser presented his case. Every mistake you ever made, every failure you experienced, every moment of weakness, every sin, every stumble, every fall. He demanded a verdict of guilty. He insisted you should lose everything. He argued that you deserved defeat, but then the defender stood, and when he opened his mouth, the entire courtroom trembled. He presented evidence the accuser never expected. Every tear you cried in secret, every prayer you whispered at midnight, every time you chose faith over fear, every moment you kept going when everything said quit, every act of kindness when you had nothing to give, the defender was Jesus. And his final argument was not your righteousness, it was his blood. Then God's voice thundered through the courtroom. He said, "The verdict is rendered. This one is declared winner, not by their own merit, but by the blood of my Son. Every accusation is dismissed. Every charge is dropped. Every curse is cancelled. The case is closed. Let the record show that this chosen one has been vindicated, justified, and crowned. And let the accuser know that his jurisdiction over this life has been permanently revoked. That verdict was declared over you. Do not skip this message. Do not scroll away. If you leave before the seventh evidence is revealed, you will miss understanding the full weight of what heaven has declared. Stay with me until the end. The gavel has fallen, and your victory is sealed. Before we go deeper, I need you to do something. Type "the verdict is in the comments below. This is not just typing. This is your agreement with heaven's ruling. You are telling God that you accept the verdict he has declared. The angels are waiting for your confirmation. Type it now and subscribe immediately. Turn on all notifications. What comes after this video will reveal how to walk in your declared victory. Miss it, and you have the verdict, but not the understanding of how to live as a winner. Subscribe now. You did not find this video by accident. You found it because the verdict was just released. Heaven scheduled this moment, and your vindication cannot be reversed. I know what you have been through. You felt like the case would never end, like the accusations would never stop, like the trial had been going on for years with no resolution. People watched your struggle, and thought you were losing. They saw your tears and assumed defeat. They witnessed your silence and concluded weakness. But they did not know what was happening in heaven's courtroom. They could not see the evidence being compiled on your behalf. They had no access to the divine proceedings that were turning every attack into testimony for your vindication. God says tonight, tell them the truth. While they thought they were watching a victim, I was building a case for a victor. Every tear they shed became evidence of their endurance. Every betrayal committed against them became proof of their integrity. Every year of waiting became testimony of their faithfulness. The case is complete. The verdict is final. They have won. Do not skip what comes next. The Spirit is about to reveal the 7 evidences that prove the cosmic verdict has been declared in your favor. Evidence 1. The tears that became testimony. The first evidence is your suffering, not wasted pain, but documented testimony. Every tear collected, every sorrow recorded, every moment of anguish preserved. God says, you keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Psalm 56:8. Do you understand what this means? Nothing you endured was lost. Every moment of pain became a witness in your case. The tears you thought disappeared into pillows were actually being collected as evidence of your faithfulness under fire. While you were crying, I was building the case that would vindicate you. Think about the nights no one saw, the prayers no one heard, the pain no one acknowledged. You thought those moments were meaningless. You thought suffering in silence meant suffering in vain, but heaven was documenting everything. Your tears were not signs of weakness. They were exhibits in the trial that just concluded in your favor. Evidence A through infinity. Every single drop counted. Joseph spent years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, abandoned by the cupbearer who forgot him. Alone in a dungeon while his dreams seemed to mock him. His tears, his loneliness, his confusion were all being recorded. And when the verdict finally came, he went from prisoner to palace. In one day, his suffering became the testimony that qualified him for the throne. The brothers who sold him into slavery had to bow before him. The same hands that threw him into a pit had to reach up to him for provision. Your suffering has done the same. Every person who dismissed you will witness your elevation. Every voice that counted you out will watch you rise. The verdict has been declared, and your suffering was the evidence that sealed it. Within 14 days, you will begin to see the first fruits of this verdict. Something that seemed lost will return. Something that seemed dead will revive. The verdict is manifesting. The tears that became testimony are evidence 1. Do not skip. The second evidence is even more powerful. Evidence 2. The enemies who feel the shift. The second evidence is the confusion in your enemies. The sudden unease they cannot explain. The ground that feels unstable beneath their feet. God says, your enemies are feeling the verdict before you see its full manifestation. They do not understand why, but something has shifted. The confidence they once had has evaporated. The power they thought they held has slipped away. They look at you now and sense that something is different. They cannot touch you. They cannot diminish you. They cannot stop what has been declared. Their confusion is your confirmation. Their panic is your proof. The same mouths that mocked you will watch in silence as you are crowned. Have you noticed it? The people who once attacked you with confidence now seem hesitant. The voices that once criticized you boldly now seem muted. The enemies who once celebrated your pain now seem troubled. They feel it. Something in the spiritual atmosphere has changed. The verdict that was declared in heaven is rippling into the earth, and they are sensing that their jurisdiction over your life has ended. Archangel Michael declared over your vindication, "I have been assigned to enforce the verdict. Every spiritual contract against this chosen one has been terminated. Every demonic assignment has been cancelled. Every curse has been broken. The accuser's access has been revoked. He may still whisper, but his words carry no power. He may still accuse, but his accusations are dismissed before they reach the bench. The verdict is sealed, and I am enforcing it." Exodus 14:14 activates over your enemies. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. You do not need to fight them anymore. The verdict has already been declared. Your stillness is now your greatest weapon. Let them watch as heaven enforces what has been ruled. Within 21 days, someone who opposed you will experience visible consequences. Not because you cursed them, because the verdict is being enforced. The enemies who feel the shift are evidence too. Hold on, do not leave. The third evidence explains why joy is now mandatory. Evidence 3, the celebration that is required. The third evidence is the mandate to celebrate, not a suggestion, not a nice option, a royal requirement. God says the celebration is protocol. When a verdict is declared in court, the winning party does not leave in silence. They celebrate, they honor the ruling. They embody the victory. Your celebration is not premature. It is obedient. I have declared you the winner. Your joy is your agreement with my verdict. Your praise is your acceptance of my ruling. Those who refuse to celebrate after a favorable verdict are rejecting the judgment. Celebrate now, not because everything is perfect, because the case is closed. For years, your nervous system was trained for survival. Brace for impact, prepare for disappointment. Do not get your hopes up. Scan for threats. Absorb the blow. Get back up. Repeat. You became extraordinarily strong at not breaking, at standing up one more time than you were pushed down, at enduring what would have destroyed others. But survival mode is for those whose case is still pending. Your case is closed. The verdict is in. Celebration is now the only appropriate response. Your joy is not a luxury, it is a weapon. Every laugh collapses the remaining scaffolding of opposition. Every grateful breath is a power outage in the enemy's system. Every moment of peace sends shockwaves through the false architecture he built around you. Jesus spoke over your celebration. He said, "I came that you might have life and have it abundantly." John 10:10. The abundant life is not waiting in heaven. It is available now. The verdict has made it legal. Your celebration activates what has been declared. Every laugh that rises from your chest is a rupture in the enemy's remaining influence. Every grateful breath is a power outage in his crumbling system. Celebrate. It is not optional. It is evidence that you believe the verdict. Philippians 4:4 activates over your joy. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice always. Not sometimes. This is the language of the winner's circle. This is the protocol of the vindicated. Within 72 hours, practice deliberate celebration. Play the song that shifts your spirit. Speak gratitude out loud. Let your body learn what your spirit already knows. You have won. The required celebration is evidence 3. Do not skip. The fourth evidence is about those who keep returning. Evidence 4, the ghosts who cannot touch you. The fourth evidence is the powerlessness of your past, the old attackers who try to return, the former enemies who attempt to reconnect. God says, they will come back, the ones who hurt you, the ones who betrayed you, the ones who celebrated your pain. They will reappear with apologies, with offers, with attempts to re-enter your life. But notice something, their old tactics no longer work. The words that once cut deep now land with no force. The manipulation that once controlled you now seems pathetic. The fear they once inspired now feels foreign. This is evidence of the verdict. Their jurisdiction has been revoked. They are ghosts rattling chains they no longer wear. You have noticed this already. Someone from your past tried to reach out. An old wound tried to reopen. A former manipulator attempted their old tricks. But something was different. You felt strangely unmoved, detached, peaceful, untouchable. That is not numbness. That is vindication. The verdict has changed your frequency. They are trying to access a system they no longer have passwords to. John 8:36 activates over your freedom. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Free indeed, not partially free. Not temporarily free, completely, permanently, irreversibly free. The ghosts may appear, but they cannot grip you. They may whisper, but they cannot wound you. They may try, but they cannot succeed. The verdict has made you untouchable to your past. Within 21 days, someone from your past will attempt contact. When they do, notice how little power they have. That powerlessness is proof of your victory. The powerless ghosts are evidence 4. Stay until the end. The 5th evidence is about your new reality. Evidence 5, the blueprint that is rising. The 5th evidence is the new reality being constructed, the physical manifestation of a spiritual ruling, the world rearranging to match the verdict. God says, now that the verdict is declared, reality must conform. The blueprint of your new life has been approved. The permits have been stamped. Construction has begun. You will begin to notice doors opening that were sealed shut. Opportunities arriving that seemed impossible. Resources appearing that have no logical source. This is not luck. This is the verdict being implemented. Heaven has ruled, and earth must comply. Your new reality is rising from the foundation of what has been declared. Have you noticed the changes? The sudden lightness in your spirit, the unexpected peace in your mind, the doors swinging open with surprising ease. These are not coincidences. These are implementation proceedings. The verdict is being executed. Reality is being restructured to match the ruling. Jesus spoke over your new reality. He said, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened." Matthew 7:7. The asking, seeking, and knocking phase is transitioning. Now you are in the receiving, finding, and entering phase. What once took years of striving will now appear at the speed of favor. The blueprint has been approved. Watch it rise. Isaiah 43:19 activates over what is coming. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? New things springing up. Can you perceive it? Can you see the construction beginning? Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere? Within 14 days, something new will begin to manifest. A door, an opportunity, a resource, a connection. The blueprint is rising. The rising blueprint is evidence 5. Do not skip. The 6th evidence is about the overflow coming. Evidence 6, the abundance that is overwhelming. The 6th evidence is the overflow that is being released. Not just enough, more than enough. Blessings so abundant, they will challenge your capacity. God says, for years, your container was shaped for survival. Narrow, rigid, designed for bare minimum, but the verdict has released abundance that will overflow your current capacity. You will need to expand. not just financially, though finances are part of it. Opportunities beyond imagination, relationships that feel like breath to your soul, creativity that keeps you awake with inspiration, health that renews your energy, joy that refuses to be silenced. The overflow is coming. Prepare your container. Your old mindset was trained for scarcity. Make it stretch. Make it last. Do not expect too much. Ration the good. Prepare for the lack. But scarcity thinking is for those whose case was ruled against them. Your case was ruled in your favor. Abundance is the legal consequence of your verdict. Think about what this means. The promotion you thought you lost is being redirected to you. The opportunities that seemed out of reach are now reaching for you. The relationships that crumbled are being replaced with divine connections. The finances that were blocked are now flowing freely. This is not wishful thinking. This is verdict implementation. Heaven has ruled, and earth must comply. Psalm 23:5 activates over your overflow. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Cup overflows, not half full, not barely enough, overflowing in the presence of the very enemies who thought you would lose. Within 21 days, you will experience the first wave of overflow. Something will come that exceeds your expectations. That is not luck. That is the verdict being executed. The overwhelming abundance is evidence 6. Stay until the very end. The 7th evidence is the most important of all. Evidence 7, the coronation that is permanent. This is the final evidence. This is the truth that changes everything. Your victory is not temporary. It is eternal. God says, this verdict is not a temporary ruling. It is a permanent installation. You have not simply won a case. You have been crowned, and crowns in my kingdom are not borrowed. They are bestowed. From this day forward, you are not waiting to be recognized. You are royalty, not because of what you did, but because of what has been declared. Your coronation is not an event you attend and leave. It is a state you inhabit forever. You cannot go back to being who you were. You are now and forever a winner in the divine hierarchy. This is not a mountaintop experience followed by a valley. This is a permanent elevation. This is a new altitude that becomes your new normal. You do not visit royalty. You are royalty. You do not experience victory as a moment. You carry it as a mantle. 1 Peter 2-9 activates over your identity. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. Chosen people, royal priesthood, holy nation, special possession. This is not what you are becoming. This is what you have been declared. The verdict has installed this identity permanently, and no one in heaven, on earth, or under the earth can uninstall it. The gavel has fallen. The ruling is final. You are royalty now and forever. The 7 evidences have been revealed. Tears became testimony. Enemies feel the shift. Celebration is required. Ghosts cannot touch you. Blueprint is rising. Abundance is overwhelming. Coronation is permanent. The verdict is in. The gavel has fallen, and you have been declared the winner. But I must give you a warning. The enemy will try to make you forget the verdict. In the next 72 hours, he will whisper that the case is still open, that the ruling might be reversed, that you should not celebrate yet. Do not believe him. The verdict is final. There is no appeal. The accuser has been silenced, and your victory is sealed. Now seal this verdict over your life. Say this out loud. Your voice ratifies what heaven has declared. Almighty Judge of heaven, the righteous one who presides over the supreme court of eternity. I receive the verdict you have declared over my life. I acknowledge that my tears have become testimony. I recognize that my enemies feel the shift they cannot explain. I accept that celebration is now my mandate, not my option. I understand that the ghosts of my past can no longer touch me. I believe that my new reality is rising according to your blueprint. I prepare my container for the abundance that is overwhelming.